My name is Seve Silvestre. I'm 23 years old and I'm the founder of Sherpa Media. So basically, like, the overall experience since joining has just been honestly really amazing. Our revenue is at 215K right now.
Jeez, wow.
I mean, I literally got my investment back within like the next month or so. We've been going crazy this month too. We potentially maybe closing 4 deals this week.
Man, that's more than me this week. In this video, I bring to you an insane conversation between me and one of my students, Seve, who is a 23-year-old who dropped out, quit his 9-to-5, moved to Texas, the middle of nowhere, and has scaled his influencer marketing agency in the last 8 months to $215,000 in revenue, managing 25 creators with over 20 million followers, just onboarded his first full-time employee ever, and we're doing a student interview today, going through his journey, joining, working with me, and getting mentored by me. Really awesome conversation, so let's jump straight into that. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we have an interesting video. Not just me on the video today, we have a student interview, and we have the awesome Seve over here who has been in the program for quite a while. But I'll let Seve introduce himself. Seve, you are from, as far as I'm aware, San Francisco, now living in Dallas, right?
Yeah. Yes, currently in Dallas, Texas. So just to give a little intro about myself, my name is Seve Silvestre. I'm 23 years old and I'm the founder of Sherpa Media. We are an influencer management agency really focusing on elevating Asian American influencers through talent management services, pairing influencers with their dream brands, and ultimately delivering top tier results for brands.
Amazing. Okay, so you're 23, you're running a talent management company specifically focused on Asian American influencers. So tell me a little bit about before Sherpa Media. Like, how did you get into influencer space? What were you doing before? How did you get into this whole world of influencer marketing? And then ultimately, I suppose, get to where we are now. But yeah, just give me a bit of the background to begin with, and how you found out about this whole influencer marketing game. That's I think there's very little knowledge about it online.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, it really started it started 2 years ago when I graduated from university in 2022 as a 21-year-old. I graduated with a data analytics degree, thought that's what I wanted to do. I was working corporate at one of the largest automotive companies in the world, got myself promoted to senior data analyst within less than a year, and ended up becoming the youngest person in the whole division. From the outside, it sounded like great. People were congratulating me and everything, but like, it wasn't actually like sunshine and rainbows, because halfway through the job, I really got traumatized from working corporate when every single morning I'd just be getting a call from my boss before my shift even started at like 7 a.m. asking me for like this really important data report that needed to be done within the next hour. Every night, I could never get like a good night's of rest, waking up in a pool of sweat, literally like heart beating so fast.
Jeez.
Within the first few seconds of waking up. And I just knew that like this is like not what I wanted to do for like the rest of my life. I then ended up spending like every single minute after I clocked out of work just trying to figure out like, how can I build the life that I want to build for myself. So obviously there's a lot of drop shipping videos. I tried that on the side, SMMA, I even tried my own like YouTube content creation for like everything. I tried all of that because ultimately, I wanted to be able to travel the world, work from anywhere, doing something that I was truly passionate about. And I knew it wasn't going to be corporate for sure. So I made a pretty bold decision, July of 2023. So crossing into the 1 year mark almost. I ended up impromptu quitting my corporate job. I moved back home with not really a big plan. I took a leap of faith, which ultimately led me to the birth of my influencer management agency, Sherpa Media, where we now currently manage a roster of Asian American creators of over 20 million followers, working with brands such as Amazon, Listerine, Epic Games, and Adobe, and so much more. It's been a crazy journey for sure, because when I first did get into the space, there's like no information about the influencer marketing space, like no one's really talking about it. Coming from someone who was already interested in drop shipping and SMMA, I knew that like, okay, it's getting pretty saturated with how many videos there are.
Literally every single YouTuber or ad that comes up on my YouTube now is literally just like, I'll build you a free e-com store, or it's like how to get leads for your SM agency. And there's tons of content out there about that, but very limited around influencer marketing. I mean, even past what I do, like there's pretty much nothing. What I notice is that even if you don't want to start your own agency, right? Even if you want to just get a job in the influencer market space, that's still relatively difficult to learn information about, because there aren't any like influencer marketing like courses, whereas you can go on Facebook and Facebook will give you all their paid ads courses for free there and then. Same with Google. There's a lot of Shopify free resources, but influencer marketing is one of those ones, unless you like work in the space or
Mhm.
somehow manage to just find a bit of information, it's super difficult to like really understand the ecosystem. So yeah.
Yeah, that was seriously like the biggest problem. And I knew that like as someone who, appreciates mentor figures, I was like, dude, how am I gonna like get someone to teach me the ropes? So that was like a huge big thing. But that was also like a kind of a green flag when I found out like, there's actually not a lot of information out there on it. Like maybe there might be like an opportunity. So I really just dove in like head first. That's where I kind of found you on social media. You definitely helped me get all the framework with everything when I joined you. What was it like August or September last year?
Yeah.
But ever since then, it's just been an uphill battle, but you just put in the work and
Yeah,
it's
just
been
I
it's
mean,
been fun.
just like every business is, and I think that it's always one thing I like to get across to my audience and my content is that like everyone paints this perfect picture, right, of business. How you immediately start an online business and you're Iman Gadzi, right? But it's not the case. There's that work, there's that dedication, there's those late nights, there's those stresses, but it's better working and putting in the ground for yourself and being able to be flexible on your own terms than, as you say, waking up every morning at 7 a.m. to text from your boss, like, give me this report in an hour. And it's like, you don't want to be doing that. Whereas if you wake up at 7 a.m. and you're like, shit, I got to do this, at least you're doing it for yourself. Out of interest, like, what was it that specifically got you interested in influencer marketing? Was it just searching up like marketing agency influencers? Was it like searching SMA and then you obviously found me? Or was there a specific like reason that you then went to search up influencer marketing? Obviously, if you tried drop shipping, tried SMA, obviously seeing that drop shipping there's so much information. We're not back in 2016 where it was the optimal time for that. SMA is exact
Yeah.
same thing. Ever since Eman took over the space, there are hundreds of thousands of, I mean, he makes about 10 million plus a year from his education business. So there's tons and tons of
Yeah.
people entering the space. So how did
Mhm.
you find out about influencer marketing? How did you land on that concept? Where did you first discover the whole concept of it?
Interesting backstory on that one too. So, I mean, there's like always like the backstory of someone being like, oh yeah, I've always been really passionate about the creator space. That was very similar to me. Like I looked up to content creators growing up, as like celebrities.
Yeah,
They were like my
same
celebrities,
with
like,
me.
Simon, all those guys, FaZe Clan. Like I literally watched those guys every day. One thing that actually really drove me to get into influencer marketing was my brother was actually a content creator. He started his content journey back when COVID first started.
Mhm.
And up to now, he has over 1 million followers on all platforms. And the way that I really dove into it was, one day he was talking about how like, dude, like being an influencer is honestly so overrated. Like I have all these following, but like, dude, I've literally made like less than $3,000 in the past like 3 years. It's just
Yeah.
like, dude, this is like so overrated. It's like it was such a waste of my time. And I was just like sitting there. I was just like, there's got to be like something to it. Like I feel like knowing my brother, he went to dental school. He didn't have go to like get like a proper business education, whereas
Yeah.
I did. So I was like, there's got to be a whole like industry behind this that he hasn't tapped into. So I kind of told him like, let me just like find you some deals very casually. Like, let me outreach, like give me a list of brands you want me to reach out to. I'll reach out and we'll like see what we can do. Turns out, as predicted, like, yeah, my brother had no idea what he was doing. And we were able to break in like, I mean, literally just this past year, my brother's social media brand has done well over 5 figures, like, a lot of money. Definitely like changed his perspective on being an influencer. And I knew that like, all right, if my brother is having these thoughts about, it being really overrated to be an influencer, not making money, I'm sure all his friends that he's, his connections he's made throughout the years as like influencers also have the same problem. So I kind of went one by one, started reaching out to some of his friends, saw if they had the same pain points. They did, ended up bringing on some of his friends. And ultimately now we're at a thing where, the referrals just keep coming in. And now we have a roster of 25 creators, 20 million followers, all having the same pain points of just wanting to monetize their social media brand.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Like it's super interesting because I think there's two really cool points about this. One, coming together with your brother and
Mhm.
basically you finding a way to support him and leverage his content to you both to make money, right? If he wasn't doing it correctly, so which is a beautiful partnership. Being able to do that with your brother is amazing. And then the second part is that like it's super interesting again because I think a lot of people look at influencers and just assume the followers are super rich, all of this and that, but there is
Yeah.
the stat that only 2% of influencers make more than 50K US a year. And that's like the
Yeah.
whole thing. Like, I'm sure you've probably seen on social, and if anyone's watching this, like the whole Eddie Cumberbatch guy talks about broke influencer syndrome all the time, and
Yep.
that's his thing.
Yep.
And like, me being in the space for so long, I have seen that as well, because there's obviously the extremes. I work in very extremes. I work with like the Sidemen, Logan Paul, who are all multi millionaires. So they're going to be fine. They make tons of money. But then on the other side, the smaller kind of creators, or even not necessarily smaller ones, just the ones that don't know where the opportunities are, who the brands are, how to connect with the brands, how to find them. They're still not monetizing, but there's a lot of creators who have a very high value audience, but just can't
Mhm.
find the way to monetize because they're creators. They're not business people. They don't,
Exactly.
they're not actively trying to go make the connections. Because I mean, yourself, you make a video, you were making a video once every day for the last 30 days, and it takes you what, 3 hours to make one video? Like, it takes a
Yeah.
while. So they don't
Mhm.
have the time to go and find these deals and find these brands to work with. So it leaves the perfect opportunity for, someone like you to come into the market and support these creators and help them generate money, and you make money at the same time, right? Everyone wins, and also help the
Mhm.
brands get their products and services in front of that really engaged target audience. So I guess obviously, as you mentioned, just kick it back to, you kind of started looking into this almost this time last year, a little bit later, July 2023. And then
Yeah.
you found my content. Obviously, you reached out to me. I think you obviously came on board sometime late August, maybe early September. So about what, 8 to 10 months from now, so, since then, something like that. What were some of the kind of like pain points and areas that you had before sort of joining the IM Academy and joining what we were doing within the influencer space itself? Obviously, I presume it is back to what you're saying about just the lack of being able to actually understand how to get started and the knowledge in the space, right?
Definitely just like, I mean, it's really just like, it was genuinely like everything. Like, you have no idea where to even start. Like, at least with some other things, it's like you kind of have a general like starting
Yeah.
point. But it's like in this space, like there's like, I mean, I think there's a lot more information now. I'm
Yeah.
starting to see a little bit more creators. Like, I've seen Hormozy videos talking about like influencer partnerships
Yeah.
too.
I've been enjoying them. I've watched a few of them because he scaled a lot of his businesses with influencer partnerships. So he's finally sharing that content, which is great.
Yeah, it's a good sign to come for the industry too, because if Hormozy and like other guys are talking about it, it's like we're in a good spot. So I mean, but back when I first started, like no one was talking about it, so I really had no idea where to start, and like I just thought like, all right, like I'm just gonna grab some, contacts from LinkedIn, stuff like that. I kind of know how to do that. I'll just email them, but like there's so many different things that go into it, like crafting the perfect pitch, all the infrastructure that goes into it, like negotiating is so huge, like so many things that I just had no idea that like a lot like in the first like month or so I had to like learn through trial and error.
Yeah.
Like I definitely could have sped up that process for sure had I like had, a mentor kind of teaching me the ropes, and like obviously still getting in there, failing on my own, but like I could have, minimized that, especially in the early stages.
Yeah, I mean, I still talk to people to this day. I mean, I've got a coaching call with some guy on Saturday. He's just booked in for like one coach call, and he was saying that like he's been able to get his agency to a pretty good space by himself. But he was saying that like
Mhm.
there's just zero information of how for him to take it from where he's at now. He's been running it by
Yeah,
himself with like a VA, and he
yeah.
just kind of he struck out. He got lucky. He got managed to get a few good clients. He was in a very good niche. He's in the AI niche, and no one was really doing
Okay.
that niche. And he was saying the same thing. That's like, even to this day, his agency does about 22K a month now. He was telling me, and
Wow. Okay.
that's doing pretty solid for the fact that he
Yeah.
started it around a year ago. And he's saying that he watched my recent video about like negotiating with influencers, and he was even saying like that's a pretty basic video in my opinion, right? That's
Yeah.
meant for a basic audience that's never done. He was like, even that was like so valuable for him because there's just not really that general information, and he's just been kind of trying to work it out. So yeah, I definitely feel that, and it's one of the reasons that I am trying to share this information, because like when I first started, I was lucky in the fact that, I mean, obviously I've been doing it for 3 years to begin with, just kind of learning through YouTube. But then obviously I got that job for 6 months, which is really what supported me. But as I say, I
Mhm.
realized that unless you come into a bigger agency and work there for a while, you don't really learn how to do things. And I suppose even for me in that first year, I was just trial and error, trying to work things out. And I definitely could have got to a way better point in that first year had I had a lot more information.
I think something you said, like when you said that you had to figure out how to do all the invoicing on your own, like, dude, like I cannot imagine having to go through that without like a mentor. Cause I know like, in the past year, I've definitely been able to, work with you to help me out with my payment processes because
Yeah,
I
I
had
know.
no
I remember
idea.
we had that conversation a while ago about like Yo, what I got to do with the taxes thing? But
Dude, yeah.
but then
Like,
again, like it's still those are these things that it's like people just don't realize that it's a big issue in the influencer space. Is people don't realize that like about the taxes and all of that stuff and like W-8 forms and everything. Let's say we move forward to August and you find me, you get involved and you get in touch. And obviously, you know, I don't keep it secret that obviously joining the program has a four-figure ticket to it. And
yeah,
you know, it's not cheap, right? It's not like it's you know, you can there's some, you know, school community you can join for like, you know, $50 a month and that type of stuff. Is obviously a more of a higher ticket program. It's a big decision, especially when you quit a job to spend a lot of
yeah,
money on something that you don't even know the guy, right? So it'd be good to
yeah.
understand, like, how did you feel after dropping four figures, or I don't know how much it is in dollars, the price
Yeah.
conversion, to be honest, but on something like that. And you know, did you feel apprehensive? What were your expectation? What was the worries and all that stuff?
Yeah, man. I mean, I definitely took it a lot of thought. You typically make courses when like you're kind of falling off on your main kind of gig, but I think in your case, like just seeing like the work that you've done and also like on LinkedIn, like you're very active. You're still growing it. So I was kind of just like, okay, like this doesn't seem like it's like his main business is like falling off. If anything, like I mean, just like go and talk to him and see what it's about. But a lot of it really aligned with what I was, trying to work towards. But I also knew that there was no other course. I mean, no matter how much I could find like that could replicate like what I was looking for. Like yours was perfectly what I wanted, and just to know that like at least at the stage that I got into, there was like a lot of like personal feedback from you, which was super helpful with the learning curve. I mean, I literally got my investment back within like the next month or so, anyways. So it was like really huge, but also like that dropping that much money too makes you really grind. Like this is not like a fun and games anymore. At first I was just doing brand deals for my brother, like well, we'll see what happens. But like now knowing that there's like a whole business model behind it, I'm dropping like my last few thousands of dollars that I've saved up on this. It's like, all right, it's go time. Like you got to start like taking this seriously. Yeah, it's definitely scary. I'm pretty sure I took like I think I like took a picture of myself as right after I paid you. Like it was like a selfie of me after like I just paid you. I was just like I told myself I'm gonna look back at this and be like this was like the best, like this was like the start of my journey, like this is like the first investment I made in myself in this space, and I could kind of look back on it a few years later. But I think I have that picture somewhere. I don't know if
Wow,
I can
bro!
find it.
If you have that picture, then send it my way. That's amazing. Didn't realize that you took a picture like that. I mean, I guess you're very big on documenting the journey, so it makes a lot of sense that you
Yeah,
did. I think when you do spend an amount of money on something, it sort of is that like financial anchor where it's like you're bought into it. It's like you have to. I've spent this amount of money. Like there is no excuse now. If it's just a waste otherwise, if I don't put the work in and actually get up to where I want to get. Obviously, when you join, you kind of had that feeling of I've got to do something right now, and this could be the best investment that I make. And as you say, I think you mentioned that you made that investment back within like a month, which is awesome, which I'm really, really glad. And that's my biggest thing for like the group of guys is really just that's why I'm keeping it relatively small. And it's just like people can apply and join. And we only take one or two people every month is because I want to spend the time with the people to get to that, make their money back at least or way more, obviously, is the
yeah.
goal and get to that sort of 100K mark. People can get really scared. Other people can be like, yeah, let's just go. It's go time. Let's do it.
You should not put too much emphasis on like the person who's creating the course, because ultimately it's up to your inputs to really make the most out of it. So just kind of just my word of advice to anyone thinking about investing themselves into either I Am Academy or also just like any course in general. Like it's really all about you. All the work you put in.
Amazing, man. So obviously, good positive things that have happened to you since, and since you've been building your agency now for just upcoming probably a year and a bit, which will be a nice, exciting milestone. What's been your overall experience since joining back in September? And tell me a little bit about some of the results that you've been able to achieve. Obviously, you mentioned
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
creators and whatnot.
So basically, like the overall experience since joining has just been like, honestly really amazing. You know, especially from your modules that you've provided too, has been really great. And like genuinely cannot say that I could get to this point without your help too, with all the resources you've provided. Also, just overall experience in the community you built too, man. I gotta say, like the community of people in this is like they're so driven, and it like seriously like motivates me to like everyone's just like grinding so hard. Like some of them are like 17 years old, and I'm just like, dude, like this guy is grinding. Like, man, such like when I was 17, like I was like playing like Fortnite, but it's like different now. So it's like crazy to see like how like dedicated everyone is right now. Everyone's pushing each other, everyone's supporting each other. It's such a great environment you've created. But with a combination of your the teachings that you've given us and also the community that we've had, our revenue is at 215K right now.
Jeez, wow.
We're working this week. We've been going crazy this month too. We potentially maybe closing 4 deals this week,
Man, that's more than
totaling
me
just
this week. Jeez, you're
no, but no, no, but these are like definitely on the smaller, like 10K total revenue. It's just like cool wins here and
yeah, of
there.
course. You always got to celebrate the small wins, right?
No, 100%. It's just great. So yeah, I mean that's kind of just like where we've been at in the past like 8-9 months so far, and it's just like continuing to grow, continuing to learn too. I mean, I learned about new ways to enhance my business like 7 months into the program. Like there's always like new stuff going on, so it's like such a great community to be a part of. The IM Academy has been really helping so much, and genuinely cannot say I would definitely be here without your help. So yeah.
Amazing, man. That's super awesome. So 215K USD revenue since starting your agency. So obviously about eight, nine, I don't know exactly, 8, 9, 10 months, some along those lines. I mean, I think
Yeah.
we did 125K my side USD in about 6 months, 100K GBP. So I mean, you've way gone above me. So think about where you're going to be in 6 years' time, which will be crazy. And
We'll see.
also, also as you say, like, so I mean, that's one number. That's a great number. But as you say as well, you got what, like 25 creators in the roster now, or it's over combined 20 million followers, or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have 25 creators that we represent, work really closely with, total of 20 million followers. I've been able to, work with some of the biggest, Japanese American creators that I knew of, also like kind of, in the past few years, I just watched their content. Now I get to work with them and source deals for them. So it's been a pretty cool kind of full circle moment.
that's amazing, man. That's so awesome. So obviously you mentioned you got about potentially 4 deals coming in this week. Hopefully, on average, sort of how many deals are you guys now doing every single month? I know it's like you're always constantly hustling with it, and you're loads of sales calls and pitching calls. But good to know, like on average, how many deals you think you're doing per month now?
Yeah, it's definitely hard to say an average just because so last month I actually brought on my first full-time hire, which has
Yeah,
been a really cool experience to just, building my business as a solopreneur for the past 8 months, finally bringing on someone who aligns with the vision. And now we got like double the manpower.
it's amazing.
So, I mean, just in the past like month or two, like our pitches have just increased immensely. Like our efforts are like more than I've ever seen so far. So it's been really crazy for sure. So I mean, it's hard to really give like an average because it's like our first 2 months really just like ramping everything up. But I mean, we're talking to a lot of brands, we're negotiating with a lot of brands. We're trying to see what sticks, just building relationships with both brands and creators. It's just really busy all around. So like not getting a lot of rest, but it's part of the journey, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's incredible actually to think about it because completely forgot you brought in your full time hire now. I mean, obviously, you ran the solo business up to 200K revenue. Now you're
Yeah.
bringing on, now you brought a full time hire. It's just imagine
Yeah.
what you guys are going to be able to achieve throughout the
Uh,
rest of the year, especially given the fact that like we're only in June and the influencer
mhm.
marketing industry picks up way further, like way more in Q3 and Q4 because that's when brands got to
Yeah.
finish spending their budget. That's when Christmas. That's when Black Friday, back to school. A lot of the big key moments. I mean, for us, like our biggest month is usually October every single year. That's
October.
historically been the biggest month for us, because a lot
Mhm.
of people try book up Christmas and Black Friday and everything by October to get budgets planned.
Mhm.
So having two people for that, and obviously you'll be able to probably yourself spend time developing and focusing and trying to build the roster. You have someone else
Yeah.
being able to support and bringing in more deals for the creators and kind of managing that. So it's a really good combination, which is fantastic. So I, really hope that goes well, and I'm sure you're already seeing the positive results in that. But that's amazing, man.
Yeah. Slowly working on the grind. It's all part of the
Yeah,
process.
and I mean that I guess that leads into my next question because my next question was actually going to be around like, I guess, how have you seen your the results like impact your life? And for you, it's obviously you document your journey, so everyone knows that you are head down grinding 16 hours a day. Which obviously a lot of people when they start online businesses are like, I don't want to do that. I want to work for 2 hours on the beach and go travel, which you can
Yeah.
eventually do. And again,
Yeah.
you will probably have the next year, a couple years down the line when things are formalized, you'll be able to do that. But we get to understand, I suppose, have you really seen the fact that you've now got a business that has generated you 215K in revenue? Has that impacted
Mhm.
your life in terms of your lifestyle, what you've been able to do and achieve? Maybe haven't been able to enjoy all of it because you've been working so hard, but who knows?
Yeah, it's definitely a combination of both. Like what you said, like you know that I'm in the current phase where I'm just like head down, like
Yeah,
locked in, like no distractions. Like I cannot afford to, it's not about like, oh, is this gonna work? It's more so like, all right, this is working. Like how do we grow more?
yeah.
It's like a completely different stage, and it's like now it's kind of like different mindset where we just gotta go. We just gotta go. Definitely would say like lifestyle wise, yeah. I mean, I don't get to really. I haven't really prioritized like doing all those lifestyle things just yet, and I know that it's just kind of like a temporary sacrifice that I make myself for like the next 2 years or so. But completely like okay with it. I mean, I love what I do every single day. Like like what we talked about earlier, it's like we're able to work more than 12 hours a day, and like we're excited every single day. Like I don't have to deal with like, I don't know if you know the term like Sunday scaries, where like you're
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
worried about going to work. Like I don't have to deal with that anymore. Like every day is like fun. Like I'm no matter what, Saturday, Sunday, we're still working, we're still getting up, we're still grinding.
I know. I mean, I'm texting you when I'm waking up, telling you to go to bed because you're working too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've obviously been documenting that whole journey on your Instagram, right? You've been working and obviously did the video a week for a bit, and you got into the video a day, which is I'm impressed by the fact that you're able to balance that because like I can barely do pump out one video a week. But yeah, tell me about that. Like, why did you decide to document your journey of building this business? Like, is it accountability type thing? Is it just a case of like you obviously want to go back to your roots of trying to maybe be a creator? Like, what's the sentiment behind it? Because obviously you've been showing and again, it's also been very beneficial. I mean, you've got a lot of people who've applied to join the agency
Yeah.
and stuff through that journey as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I did it basically to give a rundown. I did a 30-day sprint on Instagram where I posted every single day documenting my journey, try to be as high quality as possible too. And I'll always remember this journey as like probably the turning point of where things started to really change from just like this is a concept of a business to like this is an actual business now.
The contents, I mean, I love your content. I had actually one of my exclusive influencers because I reposted you, followed your video, and
Yeah.
he DM'd me and was like, "How is this guy not got more followers? The content quality is insane." And like for anyone watching this, like I will put Seve's Instagram like in the top of the description. Like it's check it out. It's like honestly, as I told you before, I want you to teach me how to do that content style. It's really really awesome, and you clearly put a lot of work into it. But I think, as you say, balancing trying to run the business, upload a video every single day, still make time for yourself, train, workout, all that stuff. It's
Yeah.
like it's hugely inspiring. So, I guess what we get to understand, like, what are some of the main challenges that you faced along this journey so far over the last 9-10 months that you think are useful just to the audience to share, and then maybe how you've gone about solving them whilst kind of having those challenges.
Definitely, like if I were to sum up all the challenges I faced in my past year, like it's really, I think we touched upon it, but it's really just like you against you. Like no one's gonna be like babysitting you or holding your hand throughout your
Yeah.
journey. Like again, like all of your inputs is going to amount to the outputs you get out of things. So the biggest challenge for me overall has just been like building that discipline, has been the biggest challenge because like once you're able to really fully control like take full control of yourself and possess a really strong discipline, like I realized that you could honestly achieve anything. And like as I've just noticed like how much I've changed in the past year,
Yeah.
like now I'm able to, put in the extra work in my business, physically, mentally, everything. Grinding every single day, no matter if it's like the weekday or weekend, morning or night, just knowing that you're most likely underestimating the amount of work needed to achieve your goals, and you just got to really just sink that into your mind. Yeah, if there's any like advice I could just give to someone who's just getting started, it's like really master this.
It's true. Like mastering up here, like kind of does sort of benefit everything else. Doesn't matter whether you're doing influencer marketing, whether you're a basketballer, whether you're a swimmer, whatever it is. Like getting the mental right, like you can achieve everything.
Mhm.
So yeah, amazing. Last couple of bits for me is just for if you were to recommend anyone who's watching this video, what type of people would you recommend? Kind of the IM Academy to who do you think makes sense to join something like this? Obviously, you've mentioned that if you want an easy ride and 9 to 5 probably isn't the right thing for you if you're not ready to put the work in. But and from your opinion of going through it, being a part of the community, seeing the other guys involved, who would you kind of recommend this type of group to?
Yeah, I think just kind of going back to all the themes you really touched upon, I guess I can start off with like who I wouldn't recommend it to. It's like obviously someone who is looking for quick cash, probably not going to be a good fit. Like if you're undisciplined, if you're looking for someone to really just hold your hand throughout the whole process, and you also just don't understand the importance of investing money into your knowledge through courses and communities, who I would recommend it to are people who are willing to put in the work and be proactive. Just having been in this like IM Academy for the past year, it's like Suhit gives such an amazing roadmap, but it's literally up to you to determine how much worth you make out of it. So if you're willing to put in the grind, not complain if things aren't going your way, that's part of life. You just figure out the solution to the problem. Then I promise, like, anyone can see success, especially with how great of a community and course that you've built with IM Academy. So those are the traits of people I would recommend it to.
We discussed all about your journey up to now. I suppose, what's the future plans? What do you want to do with Sherpa? What are the goals? And
Yeah.
how can we help you get there as well?
Yeah, man. I mean, definitely like really thinking about like the short-term goals and really making sure we can execute on them. I mean, main thing is just like really just continuing to provide like exceptional results and value to our clients, being both our influencers and brands. Continue to grow our network of Asian creators around the world, and on a money sense of things, like hopefully reaching 500,000 in revenue by the end of the year. It's a pretty ambitious goal,
It's going to
but
be amazing.
being at 215 right now and knowing that Q3 and Q4 will hopefully be really good, it's a goal I'm really pushing for. But yeah, I mean, other than that too, we just really are focusing on continue to establish our footprint in the creator economy space as the leading Asian American influencer management agency in the years to come. But that would never have happened without Suhit and the IM Academy for sure.
Nah, but I mean, those are big goals, man. Those are great goals, and I think it's always more important to set bigger goals. And then if you set too small goals, you never get there. But that's everything I have for mine. I guess I've already kind of plugged where to find you, but if I guess for your own side, if you want to promote anything, say where to find you, feel free to just drop it now, or if anything you want to share as like a final thought before we end off this video.
You know where to find me. I think Suhei will put it on Instagram, Sevi.kai. I'm also planning on actually expanding my new chapter of content creation. I'm documenting my journey actually on YouTube. I'll be on both YouTube and short form content now. So if you're looking to continue to follow on the journey, definitely tune in. But also just reach out to me too, whether it's on Instagram or LinkedIn or email, stuff like that. Like if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me, and just love to see more driven people in this space and make the creator space a lot more, fun with everybody. So
Amazing, man. Well, so glad to jump on with you tonight. I'll let you get off because I'm sure you got a bunch of deals to go close off. And
you
yeah,
do too.
really appreciate it, man. Have a great one. Cheers.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
So that's Seve's journey. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And as Seve said in the video, if you want to join the IM Academy, if you think you're prepared, if you have the mindset, if you're ready and really want to change your life and build a successful influencer marketing agency, just drop me a message. My Telegram and Instagram are both in the description. That's where you can message me, reach out, get involved, join, invest in yourself and succeed. And if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this interview with Seve, if you want to see more of these with other students and just more kind of like heart-to-heart conversations with other people, leave a comment, please subscribe and like the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.